Pleased to be joined by Matt Lamb. He's from the College Fix. He's the associate editor over there. You can find out more by going to thecollegefix.com, thecollegefix.com. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, there is a lot of attention, and there should be a constant attention on what happens on our campuses across the country. Your general thoughts over these past 2 weeks related to what we've seen, not just with the encampments, but how administrators have handled this up to this point.
I think in many cases, administrators let the encampments go on for too long. We had a student reporter who went to Northwestern University's encampment. He's a student there. And it had gone on for weeks, I think at least a month. And this is not a specific rally where you bring in speakers and they make their viewpoint. There's nothing wrong with that. These are just this sort of amorphous blobs that just exist for weeks, where they have these tent cities and they have these teach-ins, and then they're chanting in many cases anti-Semitic things at students, whether that happen in Northwestern or other campuses. And of course, we've seen more violent protests where at Columbia or the University of New Mexico, for example, these students and outside agitators, we should say, took over buildings and had to be cleared out by law enforcement.
And once again, we're talking to Matt Lamb. We'll talk a little bit more about College Fix here in a minute. When we look at this, though, because you've been through this before and you've actually helped participate in some events that may occur on college campuses when you were in college. You have affiliations with groups that often try to do presentations. It seems to me that, there seems to be an unfair treatment as to when more conservative-leaning speakers want to come to college campuses. If they do make it on there, they're usually canceled, or many of the students who are of the extreme far left just shut the event down. And yet, when we've looked at these past weeks, we've noticed that administrators have seemed to had a lighter hand on really events that did get out of hand.